Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Delain and Eye of Melian keyboardist and songwriter Martijn Westerholt to the podcast. The new Eye of Melian album, Forest of Forgetting, is out today on Napalm Records. Martijn talks about the influence of his brothers and getting into keyboards, starting Delain after leaving Within Temptation, Charlotte leaving Delain, the inspiration for Eyes of Melian, and creating something not in the metal world, and so much more. We packed a lot into this conversation. I'm a huge Delain fan, and getting to talk to Martijn about that project was exciting, but Eyes of Melian hits my love for movie soundtracks, the works of Tolkien, and beautiful melodies and soundscapes. Forest of Forgetting is an incredible album, and I highly recommend checking it out. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of As the Story Grows. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Discord server, and our Patreon page, where $1 a month gets you early access to every episode. Make sure you check out February's sponsor, Tapehead City. You head on over to tapeheadcity.com. I will also have a link in the show notes where you can find cassettes from Refused, pick up The Shape of Punk to Come. They also have tapes from Bad Brains, Bad Religion, The Descendants. You got heavy metal cassettes, you got hardcore cassettes, you got soundtracks, hip-hop, punk rock, alternative, indie, experimental, whatever you're looking for, you can get it at tapeheadcity.com. So if you're a fan of cassette tapes like I am, check out tapeheadcity.com. And thanks so much to Tapehead City for sponsoring the podcast. Enjoy today's conversation with Martijn Westerholt of Eye of Melian.
Autumn's pale moon rise, chemistry thins the veils divide. Let your heart dream otherworldly correspects.
Where in the States are you situated?
Just outside of Washington, D.C.
Ah, okay, great. East Coast.
Yeah.
So time difference, 6 hours, I guess. 6 or 7, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's noon right now for me, so.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your interest in Eye of Melian.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, when people are like, hey, this is like Lord of the Rings focused, it's like, you're Tolkien focused, not Lord of the Rings. You're just like, oh, okay, like.
Well, Lord of the Rings focus is close enough for me.
Yeah, so, close enough. All over the place. I'll just ask you kind of a fun, like, icebreaker question. With the Winter Olympics happening right now, is everyone in the Netherlands excited about the Olympics?
Yes. How big a deal is it? It's a big deal. Especially speed skating is, I think, our second most popular sport after soccer. So, like for you guys, it's American football and baseball and basketball, and for us, it's soccer and speed skating, and perhaps a little bit of cycling as well in summer. Yeah. And that's kind of it for us. So speed skating is especially a big deal. So yesterday, we have this girl that is a couple with there's a U.S. boxing guy. What's his name again? Jake
what's
Paul? His name? Sorry?
Jake Paul?
Yes, I think him, the blonde guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's like really a big deal. Yeah.
She just set the Olympic record yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
So you guys noticed that too in the States?
Oh yeah. It's on all the time. We're watching everything. You know, it's the one time a year you're just like, I'll watch, every 4 years you watch speed skating, right?
And how is it for you? Which sports for you is like big or like a thing?
For the
Olympics, the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, I think like everybody's like ice hockey, right? U.S.-Canada rivalry is big, and then I think figure skating, everybody's like locked in on that. So,
because I can imagine ice hockey is kind of the fourth biggest sports in the States, I think. I
think so. Yeah.
After baseball, American football, and basketball.
Yeah, that's probably right. So
cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's turn to music. What got you started playing like keyboards? Is it just piano lessons when you're little that turned into keyboards?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I first played keyboard when I was 6, like this old-fashioned 80s keyboard with speakers, and
nice.
And then it turned into piano. and then it turned into all this band nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah. just expands. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How much influence in your kind of musical taste, or I don't know, I guess the trajectory of your life, did Robert have?
Well, let me say it like this. At first I started in, let me rewind even more back. So I have two brothers, and my oldest brother, Robert, is the middle brother. I'm the youngest. My oldest brother listened to Iron Maiden.
Okay.
But he also listened to bands like really these 80s bands like Toto, Journey, also Alice Cooper, and then Robert, my other brother, he first listened to symphonic rock. He was really into Marillion. That was like a UK British based band. And then he went into death metal, and I kind of, from my room, his room was on the other side of the hall, and I kind of like saw all these influences pouring in at my end.
Yeah.
So I got it from both of them. And then Robert asked me for Within Temptation, and that's kind of where it also took off. But I was already in school bands. It was funny because we were even in the same school band, but he was already out when I was in the school band because he was older than me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of the basics are like how do you say, connecting things there. Yeah.
It wasn't short after, or it wasn't a long time after you left Within Temptation that you started Delain. What was kind of that inspiration to like just start a new project? I mean, especially because you left Within Temptation because you were dealing with medical issues. Like,
yes, yeah. I had a mono, and that took a hell of a long time actually. But I wanted to prove myself that. Because I was like 16 or 17 when I started in Within Temptation, so I was really young.
Yeah.
And I wanted to challenge myself. Okay, see if you can make an album on your own.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I was spoiled with connections to other musicians that were easily made because of the past I already had. And that's a little bit how it grew into that first album. And then the question came from the record company, can you perhaps do this as a band?
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden I was touring.
Yeah. Back at it.
So it was not a pre-planned thing that I wanted to do my whole life. It just happened, and I love it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it was not. I was 5, and I thought, okay, I want to be a full-time musician when I'm older. No.
Yeah. It's kind of just like a little happenstance that what you started when you were 16, 17, you're still talking about in your mid 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a wild ride. What initially connected Delain with Napalm Records?
Well, first we were signed to Roadrunner Records, which was back then really a huge label, like bands like Slipknot, Sepultura, Machine Head, Type of Negative. They were all signed to Roadrunner, so it was really cool to sign there. But then they were sold to. Was actually the owner was Dutch, and he sold it to Warner. Let's not forget Nickelback, by the way. Then for us, the Warner was in it for the catalog, for all having those albums, and they were not really in it for how do you say, growing bands.
Yeah.
And our contract was almost over. So then we switched to, I had contact with Napalm, and they were back then very much into symphonic metal, and they really had Delain on the radar. And I thought, this is great, because I also could have gone to Nuclear Blast back then, but Napalm was a bit smaller label.
Yeah.
And I thought that's better for us, because I'd rather be a bigger fish in a smaller pond than a smaller fish in a bigger pond.
Yeah.
And then, right now Napalm really grew a lot. And we kind of evolved together, so to say. And I'm there ever since.
Delain's had a bunch of member changes, maybe one of the biggest ones kind of post-COVID with your vocalist switch. How difficult has it been to just like keep going after having to find new members, or has it always just been like not even a thing you think about? You're just like, all right, on to the next one.
Well, no, it was a really difficult time because, of course, I worked with Charlotte for how long at that time? I think 17 years. Yeah. So that was really painful. It's kind of like a relationship that kind of breaks down. And I have to say, I wish her all the very best. I hope she's doing really well. She's now on tour with Epica, and I think she's doing great. So I'm very happy for her. And actually, back then I even thought, okay, perhaps I should let them continue, because actually the problem wasn't at first with Charlotte, but with the guys, the other band members. And so I even first thought about, can they not take over and then I do something else? Mm-hmm. But that didn't work out. And so then I had indeed to think, okay, what am I going to do next? Mm-hmm. And Delain indeed started kind of like in this way back then with Roadrunner, that I had to search for musicians. And the funny thing is that original Delain members were in a moment in their life that, you know, they had kids, but the kids were growing up. So they got in a moment in their life that they wanted to play again. So so that was my luck. And COVID hit at the same time. So sometimes people say it's because of COVID, but actually it's not. There was a pure coincidence, but it did give time to build everything up again. And so I really had to think about it. And but then we kind of decided to go with the old band members and then with some new band members. So it was not an automatic thing, no.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I mean, long answer, by the way.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. But I think it worked out, because I think Diana's like vocals, the record you've done with her so far have been incredible. Like,
thank you so much.
Yeah, some of my favorite.
I feel spoiled. Yeah, also, you also need to be a bit lucky with people, but I have been very lucky. Absolutely. It's always a kind of a tongue twister. How do you say that in English? A tongue twister? Yeah. It's Eye Of Melian. And Melian is kind of also, some people say Milan or a million, and I can totally understand. It's always like, how do you pronounce that? The Eye Of Melian is the name. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the kind of genesis for this project, to do something more stripped back and then also Tolkien focused?
Well, I was always very much into movie score writing, like movie score music, like these Hollywood orchestra kind of things, like Hans Zimmer and Danny Elfman and John Williams, that kind of stuff. And when I was touring with Nightwish in the States, actually, I met Johanna. It was, I think, 2016 or 2017. 2016, I think. And then I was invited over by Tuomas, because Tuomas and Johanna are a couple, to their place to go hiking. And I already talked with my, back then girlfriend, now my wife, Robin, about doing something at the side from Delain. And I, as I said, I always loved this kind of music. So we were already thinking about it. And then we talked to Johanna about it. And it turned out that she had the same interest. He likes fantasy kind of fantasy books, Lord of the Rings, Skyrim, all the stuff that we like as well. So it was actually a very easy connection, and that developed into Eye of Melian. And first we released an album before this upcoming album where we did not plan, kind of the same as with my life story with music in general. We did not plan to play live and to make it like bigger and bigger and bigger, but it just happened. So we kind of did this pilot record with crowdfunding. So thanks to our super fans, I always call them, we were able to do the first record. But then with the second record, we talked and we looked each other in the eyes and we thought, let's bring this live as well. And then it becomes a completely different ball game, because then, of course, that's really a band, and then you go on tour and you need to release and you need to time it well. And here we are.
Yeah. I mean, what do you decide you're going to do a second one? Is it kind of an easy pitch to Napalm to pick it up, or?
No, we needed to convince them very much, actually, because they said, the thing is that we don't really believe that our acts that don't tour, that can work. But you know what? Okay, let's sign it. So I really had to convince them, and then afterwards, it had nothing to do with each other. We decided to also play live.
Yeah.
So it only became better for Napalm after that, but it had nothing to do with Napalm.
Yeah. This new album's called Forest of Forgetting. What kind of, from Legends of Light, what kind of different things were you then drawing inspiration from for this go around?
Well, to be honest, actually kind of the same thing, but deepening it. Because with the first album, there is nothing, so you need to find your way and what are we doing? So you're kind of discovering who you are in that entity. And with the second album, we kind of had the opportunity, okay, we know what we like, we know what we can do. Everybody has their own specialism in the team, and now we can deepen that. And that's kind of what we're doing when it comes to that's the music part. And when it comes to the theme, it's a little bit different, of course, because with the first record, it's kind of more about light, air, sky, stars, and this really is the forest, and it's really like different. And also with music writing, I had to think of Lothlorien when writing songs, for example. So it's a little bit more specific in that way. Yeah.
With the artwork for this project, is it easy because it's fantasy based to kind of pick and choose artistic styles for the visuals, or is it hard to not like do something that is like a trope and like people have seen 1,000 times?
Well, it is kind of hard, I think, but I think that the solution always is to look at your lyrics and what do we have here, and what do we want to convey? What is the vibe, the atmosphere we want to convey? And with Delain, with Eye of Melian, there is there's also a lot of melancholism in the music, and so having a statue that is overgrown in a forest is very melancholic, and it also completely fits this Middle Earth kind of vibe, so in that regard, it was not easy. But at first, we really had to think, okay, we're going to, of course, this is about the forest, but you cannot simply show a forest. That's kind of like, you have nothing. And we had the same problem with the first album. That is kind of, we wanted to have a landscape there, with mountains and a lake. But we thought the second time, no, we need to be more specific. And of course, there are a lot of, especially in symphonic metal and also in black metal, there are a lot of forests and that kind of thing. So it's also very important that the style of your artwork is distinguishable. But I think it worked out with Forest of Forgetting. I think it conveys the vibe we want to how do you say broadcast to the listeners, so to say.
Yeah. I just like looking through the various cover arts. It's like the Legends of Light Deluxe Edition. It's very much like the Valar sailing off into
yes, true.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know your stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. It's funny. When I saw the press release, I like took a screenshot and sent it to my brother, he's like a big Tolkien head, and he was like, "All right, I have to listen to this band now," without hearing anything. So, like that theme alone, like got him.
Awesome. Well, then the how do you say? It's working what we had in mind. So that's great.
Yeah. You guys have a big like Forest of Forgetting over Finland tour coming up. How challenging has it been to put together the live aspect? Are you doing it all kind of in computers and like triggering
good
tracks,
question.
or are you having a symphony with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, you have to start somewhere. So if we would take a symphony with us, then we have to ask $400 for a ticket. Because symphonies are like really expensive. So you can only do that if you attract a lot of people, and we are a beginning act. And although we are kind of blessed with people that have elaborate musical careers behind them, if you look at Johanna, but also at some of our guests from Nightwish, for example. Mm-hmm. Well, I know I also have a history in music, so that does help, but still it's a completely new thing. So so the good thing is, because indeed we really thought about that, the good thing is that Johanna plays violin, for example, and Robin plays a little bit of violin as well. She was a bit rusty, but she's really taking lessons now to
get back up to speed,
improve. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I play piano, and they're all very good with backing vocals. Johanna, and also her brother, who's live with us as well, and Robin. So we can do a lot already on our own, but indeed for now we do also need to use backing tracks for the orchestrals. But the end goal is to have a real orchestra and do it like that. So that's eventually the step. So these are the first baby steps we're taking. Yeah. See how people respond to it live. And exactly.
Yeah. It's a cool record because like, even though it is very symphonic and movie score-esque, like you can hear a symphonic metal background in there. Like if you added drums and guitars, you'd be like, it would be a heavy record, right?
Yeah, true. No, that is true. Well, people also ask me a lot, like, hey, is it easy for you to do this without the guitars and the drums? Because that's a big thing that is not there. And also, to my own surprise, I kind of knew it already in the back of my head, but when you think about it, an orchestra already has so much instruments in there, and you can already play around so much with heaviness and with making things light. So in hindsight, I'm really happy that I kind of don't miss it. And we do have percussion, but I do the metal stuff with Delain, so that's also nice that it's kind of separated, and you can do a couple different things here with Eye of Melian. Yeah.
Album's out next Friday. You got this tour in Finland. What's kind of the rest of the year? Are you like, once these shows are out, are you kind of turning your attention to stuff with Delain, or is it just nothing?
Well, actually, that is a good one. We just signed to a live agent, also connected to Napalm, coincidentally, and we are actually having talks with him right now what we can do for playing, because, for example, I would also love to play the States in Canada, because it's also with Delain, where it has always been one of my favorite places to tour. And of course Robin is American. She's from California originally. So I have a connection to the States, and so I would love that. So we're just going to look into that, but I think we need to grow a little bit first to do that. So after Finland, I hope we can do some festivals. that might be challenging for this year because festival bookers, they book way in advance, and our album is now coming out. So if not this year, then definitely next year. Yep. So we're gonna play a lot live, and for the rest with Delain, and when it comes to writing, I'm very much in Delain mode right now.
Nice.
Because the album for Eye Of Melian was already finished in September. So after that, I went full into Delain mode. So I hope we can release Delain stuff end of this year.
Yeah.
So it's always funny when this Eye Of Melian is coming out in the open, but in my mind, I'm in the Delain world.
Yeah. I mean, this is just how the record industry works. It's always like that delay between the finished product and the public hearing it is so long.
Exactly.
You move on. Exactly.
But I'm very excited that finally this album we worked so long on and we really poured our heart and soul in, that is now getting released, and and see hopefully people like it, and that's always an exciting moment. I'm very grateful for. We got a lot of interviews and people that were interested, and because I was also kind of I hope people will like, because it's not metal music, and our infrastructure that I'm used to is the metal world, and we're metalheads as well, but this is not metal music. But I have to say, I'm really, really grateful, thankful how people are picking this up, and that they have an open mind for other music besides metal as well.
Yeah. And I think if you're already a fan of Delain or Within Temptation, Nightwish, right? Like, I think this easily fits into that world. So
that is true, and also with, for example, if you go to Comic-Con, then I always notice. I didn't go to the original Comic-Con, only in the Netherlands. It's one of my wish list still, to go to the original Comic-Con in LA or San Diego, I think it is. Yeah. But I noticed in the Netherlands, where we also have such an event, how many metalheads are walking around, and you see how many common interests people have. Like, they like this kind of music. A lot of them then also like Skyrim, or like these fantasy books, or like this stuff. So there's indeed a lot of similarities there.
We're all nerds.
Yes, we're all nerds, exactly.